And welcome everybody to the Lonely TARDIS, your wonderful, wonderful journey through the magical world of Time Lords and Time Ladies, and time and space and everything in between, and planets called Time. Woo! Where three wonderful companions come together and talk about all things Doctor Who. Today we'll be discussing episode 2, part 2 of Doctor Who Flux, the 13th series slash season for those of us in America of the second run of Doctor Who. That was it. Actually,
Doctor Who? Hello, my
Who.
name's Who. Doctor Who. No,
War of the Sontarans. My horrible accent and voice there. That's Dolly. This way is Mr. Marcus Beer, as you can see.
Well, hello there, dears. I'm Mrs. Doubtfire.
Look how long my finger gets there. Whoa. And right down there.
Keep that away from me, okay? I've had enough fingers probing me recently.
Is Sean Norton.
I'm not going to do a voice. You guys have the voices on pat. But I will say I went to bed like before the sun went down last night because you guys slapped the shit out of me so hard last week for looking tired. So I'm fucking ready. I'm ready.
You look ready. Refreshed.
I'm refreshed.
My friend.
I got about 40 hours of sleep last night, so I'm ready to go.
Ah, I got 4.
Tea.
So I start this afternoon.
Oh my goodness. I've got to say, Sean, you took off that you took off your glasses there for
put those glasses back on. Come on.
No.
Old man club, come on.
It's not that I can't. I've got a new office and the lighting makes the glare. It drives me crazy.
It's okay. I just need to zoom the screen and see what porn you're looking at while you talk to us.
You know what? Wait. Here's a close up.
It's those nudes you sent me, Marcus.
A close up of Sean's face. There it is. There's Sean's face this week.
Wow, wow! Dolly's playing with images and everything. We're getting professional. We've got the logo up there as well.
Look at that!
Yeah,
yes,
you can actually take your glasses off, Sean, and pop them up because it is really disconcerting. it's like looking at a Cylon right now.
He has to tilt his head down a little bit. You gotta get those non-glare glasses. You know what? Just do it what Marcus and I do, which is there's actually no glass in these. It's just the frames.
Yes, we just like to look smart, you know.
Well, gentlemen, hello. A beautiful Tuesday evening here in the world of Doctor Who, the Whoniverse, the fanatical Whoniverse. It's always great to talk to you, wonderful lads.
I look like I've got a lampshade getting on my head.
Actually, you know what? That's kind of cool. You got antlers.
I'm getting festive. Oh, I need a red nose and I'm good.
You usually do become Mr. Christmas around soon after the U.S. Thanksgiving. I see that pop out of you. So
screw U.S. Thanksgiving. It started today. I put the Sirius XM Christmas channel on Holly.
Yeah,
and I treated myself to a Starbucks peppermint mocha coffee. So there you go.
I love it.
Fancy.
I love it.
I'm very fancy.
I'm all about that as well. So I'm all about the Christmas spirits. I don't think there's a Christmas episode of Doctor Who this year, but there is definitely
that sucks.
There's not a Santa episode, but there's a Sontaran episode or Sontaran.
Who writes your material?
Nobody, and that's the problem.
They need to go with the garbage that Sean took out earlier.
The War of the Sontarans, which we will talk about. Quick rundown, just to remind you. I know it's been a couple days since you've seen it, or maybe our viewers or listeners have seen it. The Doctor at the end of last episode, she gets this crazy crap was happening. Beginning of this episode, she gets split up from her partners. There, they all go in different time zones and all around the universe, and it's up to the Doctor to survive the War of the Sontarans, who have somehow gone back in time and started a war in Crimea with the British, and that's where we pick up. Overall thoughts about this episode? Just kind of initial thoughts about the episode. Then we'll kind of get into some more of the details. Let's start with you today, Sean, because Marcus and I went first last week, so I want to hear your thoughts first in this episode.
It was good.
It's good. That's it.
No, honestly, it was fine. It was.
I was just waiting for you to crack your knuckles as well. It's like,
it was
oh, there it was. Wow, nice and loud.
I would say it's probably the best follow-up Chibnall's done. Again, low bar, right? But I thought it was entertaining. I thought, it proved a couple of things that we've always said true. This version of the Doctor is at her best when she's alone and being the Doctor. I thought Jodie did a great job. Felt like she finally had some material to be Doctor-like with authority and stuff like that.
Sure.
While also facing down the problems of, once again, being a woman in a time where women were not respected and being shooed off the battlefield and had no authority and stuff like that. So I liked that. I thought Dan was charismatic as hell and just fun to watch and try to understand what he's saying. And he's just a wrong.
You need the subtitles, don't you crazy Americans? You can't do scouts.
He's great. And he was sitting in the car with his parents, and he just, if we didn't have the subtitles on, I genuinely would not know what he said.
Did you have the subtitles on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I watch most things with subtitles. So
walk around with a walk, am I?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. We'll go get him. Yaz was there. The villains were compelling. I thought there was. What are you doing, Dolly?
There's that walk.
Look at that walk. Woof, Dolly's got all professional. It's only taken us, 12 years, 10 years? How long?
Yeah, just 12, 14 years, who knows?
Hey, it's a big jump from audio to video.
Yeah.
I know.
It was fun. I thought it was fun. The bar is so low and my expectations are so low that it would have had to work to really suck. And I thought it was fun.
All right, Marcus, what were your thoughts? I mean, I want us to kind of go around the table first with our initial shots, and then we'll go back.
Well, I only watched it once. I'm trying this new thing where I'm not over analyzing an episode, because if you watch it 2 or 3 times to talk about it on this show, I find that I just over analyze it, and I look at the plot holes, of which every episode of Doctor Who has plot holes.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody hearing that noise?
Yes.
Is that me?
I think
I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself a sec.
It's Sean. It's okay.
It's Sean, is it? Oh. Okay. There you go. Oh, wow. He really took it to heart and vanished.
Wow.
Wow.
We must have, we embarrassed him. I'm so sorry.
It's the chupacabra of New Jersey or something howling outside his back door.
They're coming back looking for that garbage that he threw out into the street there.
It's his glasses rattling away on the top of his head. I was like, what the hell is that? I thought he might have, I've got a picture right behind here. And it's ironically, it's the picture of the Van Gogh picture of the TARDIS exploding.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Hang on.
No, it was my glasses. My head is hollow, so it's really easy to just
there you go.
Reverberate.
Cool. Yeah.
So
is it better because is it gone?
There's a whole different track now. There's a whole now it sounds like a woodpecker on acid.
Yeah. This is perfect. You know what? We'll roll with it.
Hey, look at us rocking the Star Wars.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Do you have a set of comedy wind-up teeth that are just going across your desk?
I have nothing else going on. I've turned off everything. There's nothing else here.
All right, it's stopped now.
Yeah.
Okay. Strange things afoot in New Jersey. The next season of Doctor Who.
Next time on Doctor Who.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I've stopped rewatching before we do this. We do this show because I find myself overanalyzing it. I find myself not just switching off and trying to enjoy it for what it is. And I really enjoyed it. 2 out of 2. John Bishop, breath of fresh air. I mean, he's a total Liverpudlian scallywag, but it just, just a genuinely decent bloke. I mean, it's like, they give him a walk and he's like, I'm going in and, I'm filming this for the doctor and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I thought there was one bit where there was a Star Wars sort of like homage where the big dog Chewbacca knockoff told him to get down the garbage chute. I mean, literally, if he'd said "flyboy," that would have been hysterical. Yeah, but I thought it was fun. It did everything it needed to do. It kept the the story arc going along. It put some to one side. It did split everybody up before bringing them all back again together at the end. I thought it was just an enjoyable episode. Didn't take itself too seriously. Didn't climb up its own ass. I like the Christmas ornament enemies. They are really quite creepy. I hope the reveal isn't that they are a former set of Gallifreyans who decided to lay under the tanning bed for too long. Oh, I'm glad you got that picture up because the guy in the background there, a friend of mine tweeted out, and it's actually a guy who works for TT Games who do the Lego stuff, the Lego games, and he tweeted out a link to that mask or a screen grab to that mask that was like on sale for $17 on Amazon. So the BBC must have blown all its money on the VFX, and we should talk about the quality of the VFX this season because it's been pretty amazing. But it blew through their costume budget too, I'm guessing, as did the sparkly ornament people from 1964. But yeah, I just thought it was thoroughly enjoyable episode. God, I've gotten old, a mellow in my old age. What's wrong with me?
There's that mask.
At this rate, I'm going to miss Chibnall.
No, don't go that far. All right, my initial thoughts. You guys saw what I said last week about, or you may have heard or viewed that it was a little all over the place. It was like what they call it, the shotgun blast, where you just throw everything out there and see what sort of sticks. Things are starting to stick, and I liked this episode. I actually liked this episode. And I was surprised that I was going to like it, and not just because of the, not just because of these guys who are, I gotta say, also always a fantastic. The Sontarans, I think, have become my favorite Doctor Who bad guy because they're they bring so much, just kind of, I don't want to say relatable, but they're sort of bumbling, and their design has sort of stayed this potato, throughout the years. But a melting potato. I miss Strax. But I really enjoyed this episode. It was fun. The CGI was hit or miss in some areas. The shoot obviously was kind of out there, but for the first time in a long time, Marcus and Sean, I think I'm with you guys. It was a really good follow-up. I had fun watching it, and I'm looking forward to the next episode to see how the story continues.
Yeah. In fact, the only quibble I have is that I really could do without when the end credits kick up that they show what's coming next week, because it totally spoils any cliffhanger ending. It really does. I mean, it's like, how are they going to get out of this? Is Yaz going to get out of this? And then next week, there's Yaz. Totally got out of it. I mean, it's too much. I mean, I have the same problem with MCU end credits sequences now. I am just sick with the, sick of the whole unable to build a mystique because apparently we're such a, short attention span race that we have to have that hook for next week, or otherwise we will totally forget what's going to happen. As opposed to, starting next week with a recap. I'm down with the recap. Bring everybody up to speed, not tease everybody. It's a fucking TV show. Teasers for TV shows is just ridiculous. I mean, there's a new Stranger Things one, and I like threw my hands up in the air. I'm like, why? Just release the damn show already. You already got people hyped for it. Stop doing this stuff. Marketing people are stupid.
I'm glad I don't know anybody who's in the marketing or PR.
I didn't say PR. PR people are genius. Marketing people are stupid.
Marketing people are stupid. Also, as Sean noted, shout out to Dan Starkey, who plays Strax, but he was filled in this episode. So one of the great.
Hey, you got to have your Welsh sounding potato heads.
Yes.
I am Strax, aren't I? I will rip you asunder, and I will feast upon your bones on the battlefield. Thank you, Doctor. Have a lovely day.
It's so great how it's. You do a great job, by the way. But it's you might be a Sontaran. No, I think it's feel free to jump in, Sean. What I've been noticing with this episode, and it's that whole big thread of the Flux with Swarm and Azure. They're sort of like obviously they're guiding this whole season. I was curious how they were going to pull off one-off episodes through here, because Doctor Who, up until now, these last few years, this run has been about Monster of the Week, and they had it with the Sontarans this week, but they managed to. I kind of felt like they managed to tie it in, because the only reason the Sontarans right now have access to flip around back and forth in time and cause havoc and not care is because the Flux is happening. And so I thought that was actually a really good way to kind of pull some of these Monsters of the Week ideas in there. But I love that little pyramid triangle. I think the priestesses is kind of an interesting concept. But I'm still curious as to what who Swarm and Azure are. And I think, Sean, you might have some theories as to how they might tie in, right?
Yeah, it's still clacking
in the chat there.
It's not clicking.
It's not clicking.
It's not clicking. There's nothing rattling around inside your skull.
I think it was pulling audio for some reason from the cam. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad it's fixed. I'm sorry about that. Before that, Marcus, remind me from back in the day, Sontarans always capable of time travel? Or is this a special temporal thing because they said their temporal psychics or whatever saw the Flux coming and...
Well, they've I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, one, you're asking somebody who's borderline senile anyway. But I'm
also a walking Whovian encyclopedia, so it's kind of like...
Yeah, unfortunately, this encyclopedia is so in need of an overhaul and an update. As not that I can remember, but let's face it, the Garlics can time travel. The
Garlics,
the Cybermen. I mean, it makes sense that, with Gallifrey allegedly gone again, and the Time Lords wiped out, there's probably a bunch of TARDISes around that have allowed people to get through time. But I mean, it's also the Flux. The Flux is a temporal event as well as a universe-ending event. So they've perhaps figured out a way to send their ships. It is very, very interesting. It's I think perhaps as a one-off. I think it works. I mean, if we're going to get every single bad guy going, oh, I've got a time ship now, and off they go. It's like, oh, we're gonna, every episode's of Doctor Who is going to be the baddie of the week invading Earth earlier in the time frame because they can. But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's I'm not overanalyzing. That's the thing. I'm not overanalyzing, and I'm fine with him messing around with little bits of stuff because that's what Russell T Davies did. That's what Moffat did. I mean, they've all evolved it. It's just when they go way too far and really sort of like throw canon out the window, that to me is irksome. Hence the Timeless Child debacle. I know I hate to mention that. But please.
I have a feeling you'll be mentioning it plenty before we're done. But no, I have no problem with it. I was just curious if this is a new thing, if it's a Flux thing and a one-off thing.
Maybe we'll find out. Maybe they will go the Russell T Davies route, and we will never find out. We'll never get the payoff.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
It
let's
would be
face it.
interesting.
The tradition of Doctor Who blue balls is strong in the writers and the showrunners.
Yeah.
It would be interesting because he's a lot of modern Who, especially lately, spends a lot of time on Earth for a all of time and space, creature. But it'll be interesting because there was a line where Swarm, is that our big bad Christmas
Yes,
ornamen's name?
Yep.
He says to Yaz, like, he's never understood why the Doctor is always picking humans and why she picks you and all this other stuff. So it would be interesting if this temporal situation is also sort of being driven towards Earth as a way to mess with the Doctor, or humans throughout, wherever wind up Earth 2 or future Earth or future planets wind up. But yeah, otherwise it can get a little bit boring if you end up continually going, oh, now it's Earth in the 1860s. Now it's Earth in the 1400s. Now it's Earth, 10,000 BC. Haha. It's a big universe. But if this is specifically a baddie that's trying to mess with the Doctor's favorite species, I like that. I think that's cool.
So the Sontarans, just to go back to your point, season 11 of OG Doctor Who, the time, and I remember, I now remember this because I actually think I have the book. There was time travel.
Okay.
There was time travel in season 11, serial 1. It was set in the 13th century in England. Yeah, hang on, let's see. Scientists start to go missing in the 20th century. The Doctor is called in by the Brigadier to investigate, and it's the first episode, or one of the first Sarah Jane episodes, I think. His investigators lead him to deduce they're being kidnapped through time, and he sets off in pursuit, unknowingly kidnapping journalist Sarah Jane Smith in the process. Arriving in the Middle Ages, the Doctor and Sarah find themselves caught up in the machinations of the robber baron Irongron and his man from the stars, an alien called Sontaran alien called Lynx, who's arming him with modern weapons in return to for helping him repair his damaged ship. And so there you go. So Sontarans have had them since at least 1973. There you go.
Well,
God bless TARDIS.fandom.com.
Nice.
We do know Chibs is a lore nerd, for better and for worse. Mostly for worse.
And messing with the lore.
Yeah, and for worse. Cool. No, I thought it was cool. I'm going to follow Marcus's lead. I'm not going to nitpick this week. I'm just going to enjoy and talk about the stuff we liked.
I like that.
The Big Bad's power is interesting. Do we think that they have this sort of like disintegrating touch, or do we think they've got something time-based and they're actually erasing down to like the tiniest molecules when they get rid of and evaporate these people and pyramid AI things?
I think we will find out if they're actually evaporating them, I think, probably at the end of the season, because it wouldn't put it past me for Chibnall to do what RTD did back in season 1, where the Doctor thought that Rose was disintegrated, but she was taken by a transmat beam at the end of that first season. Bad Wolf to the Dalek ship, and he thought she had been disintegrated after the end of the Weakest Link episode. Remember that episode?
Oh
in
yeah.
Space Station?
Oh jeez, gosh, yeah. Oh. Horrible.
So we'll find out. I mean, are they really being destroyed, or are they being sent somewhere else? I just the one thing I did notice from this episode is that I've got a sneaking suspicion that Vinda, who's the guy who played Grey Worm from Game of Thrones, I think he's set up to be Yaz's exit route from the TARDIS. Probably at the end of the season, with regards to a potential love interest or something, or she goes off to follow good travel the galaxy with him, righting wrongs. At the end of this season, they just get this feeling that it's happening the way they've thrown those two together and the looks they're giving each other, even though they've only just met. And maybe it's me just being old man, but I'm reading shit into something that I shouldn't. But yeah, I just think that we might be looking at the end of Yaz's stint on the TARDIS sooner rather than later, because we know this guy hasn't joined as a permanent sidekick. He's just here for the season.
Mm-hmm.
You think they'll write her out before the specials?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. You remember the David Tennant specials.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he lost Donna Noble, the doctor, to the Dr. Donna, and then we went off to the Waters of Mars, the one with the bus in the desert, and then we ended up with the Sound of Drums. I think those were I think it was Sound of Drums, but anyway, the two-parter and the End of Time. So it wouldn't be the first time, and that allows the Doctor to really sort of like, you know, it gives the writer a chance to focus on just the Doctor. But I mean, it just depends on John Bishop and Dan. I mean, I really hope that he stays.
God, he's awesome.
I hope we get him for a couple of seasons because he's really, really good.
He's just so
I'm actually
likable.
not so he's likable, but I'm not sold on him yet. I think it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to I need to see him in
A pink thong?
maybe, possibly.
Okay.
No, a sense of okay. Let me rephrase that. We haven't had someone on the show who's just a genuinely nice, likable person as the Doctor's companion, and that's why, like, you know, we all like Donna Noble. We like, you know, there are characters that that was Donna's grandfather. There are folks that we've
also Grandpa, who got written out last year. That guy was
Graham.
He was pretty Graham.
Graham.
Yeah.
I think there was more of he was like an elder statesman style likable, where you respected him, you know, a lot. Meanwhile, Dan is he's goofy and I want to hang out with him. Type of like I want Dan to come to all of my parties, type of thing. But
you don't like that. You'd rather him be an asshole.
No, not at all. I just haven't seen this type of character interaction on Doctor Who before with someone like that. He's naive, he's likable. You're kind of cheer for him, but then at the same time, you're like, the level of naivete in him is just enough to be like, you know, don't throw that at the Sontarans because they're going to shoot you. But you know, whatever. I'm waiting and seeing with Dan. Perhaps next episode will be better. I do think both of you guys have touched on this though, in that Jodie by herself, when the focus is on her, really does excel at being at being her Doctor. Like, this is when we're actually seeing her as the Doctor and not as a part of a quote unquote team, which was always the problem before. Was she was being forced to interact with 3, 4, 5 other people at a time on the screen, and she was never the smartest person on there because, you know, she was part of that team. In the moments where she's by herself, especially in this episode, and even last episode, she really has excelled at the character. And it's a bummer to me because I would have loved to see more of this than what they sort of force fed us the first 2 seasons that she was on. I want to see her by herself and solving problems and letting her character and her build up, you know, come out. But maybe we'll have to.
They had this whole thing about fam. And that was just,
it was.
I mean, we know the Doctor gets lonely and wants to travel with people, because when the Doctor is traveling with humans, because humans are her favorite species, she is grounded by the humanity. I mean, there's that episode, that quote and that end scene from the Waters of Mars, where it's like, you know, Time Lord triumphant. And the Doctor's gotten a little cocky about, you know, doing whatever the hell he wants. TARDIS is gone. Gallifrey is definitely gone, and he's traveling by himself. And, you know, it's this grounded thing. But I just think they took it too far. I mean, Russell T Davies, and I hate to harp back to him all the time, so we know we'll talk about him next year. But he managed to hit the sweet spot with what we call the kitchen sink drama, where it is, you know, it brings in the family, it brings in the, you know, the characters on the perimeters, and you do get a sense of family with Doctor Who, and, you know, and whoever he's traveling with. We've had this since, you know, since episode 1 of William Hartnell's tenure. But it was almost as if Chibnall tried too hard and tried to make it too super relevant to the current world. And I'm not talking about the diversity of the cast. Love the diversity of the cast. That's fantastic. But it was just a little too much. It tried too hard. It's never felt organic. This time round, with Yaz being not so much of a fish out of water, or she's certainly not helpless, and she never has been. I mean, she's a police officer, but and she's a strong person anyway. But yeah, I mean, it feels this time around that there are two. I mean, let's face it, no more than two people in the TARDIS with the Doctor and anything. That should be the rule. But there's enough difference between the two people, the two companions, if you will, that it creates an interesting dynamic. And yeah, I am so interested to find out what goes on with John Bishop's character, with Dan, and I hope we get to see him with the next Doctor, because I think Russell T Davies could have some fun with him, especially if we are going back to this expanded Whoverse. Because could you imagine Captain Jack walking in and flirting with Dan?
Oh, geez,
He wouldn't know which way to turn, because he's an older chap, and he's this working class lad. I'm not saying that he would be homophobic in any way, shape, or form, but that sort of reaction might actually be some comedy gold, if handled correctly, of course. But yeah, I really hope that we don't have the same thing happen to Dan as we did happen to the Doctor's companions in the last Capaldi season, where we had what's her name? Capaldi's last season.
She was fantastic too.
Yeah. With Matt Lucas. I mean, Matt Lucas, we know.
Oh my God.
Bill Mackey. Thank you. Bill Mackey.
Yes.
Bill Mackey and Matt Lucas. Thank you. I literally had to picture. I follow her on Twitter. I had to picture her Twitter page and read it. So yeah, Pearl Mackie and Matt Lucas, who had this great, again, chemistry in that they were totally different individuals, and that's what makes the Doctor great. So hopefully that'll continue.
I completely agree.
No, it's good. It's good rambling.
Rambling's good. I was where do you think this is going with the Flux? I wanted to touch on that because I'm not.
Well, tied into that too. What the hell's going on with the TARDIS?
Yeah, it malfunctioned, didn't it? Right?
They did more than that. It malfunctioned. It came back. It's covered in black goo. There's weird black spirals growing out of it.
Yeah.
All the different doors at different angles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that TARDIS be hungover. I will say, I did
gotta get all that poison out from the big night before. Yeah.
I did find that the name of the planet Time was a little bit.
Yeah.
That was
it was really in your face.
Was an eye roller. Yeah, that was an eye roller. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, where they actually are, how the flux is obviously a temporal event that is screwing with TARDIS, because the TARDIS is a very time sensitive thing. And the fact that we kicked off the episode with the cloister bell ringing, and the Doctor couldn't get in because the TARDIS had locked her out because some shit was going on in there, and the TARDIS was feeling kind of poorly. That was great. Can we talk about the cast in the Crimea War episode? And that picture you just shared with us, Sally. I mean, the picture and the quote. That was. I don't know if you put that on screen yet, but I recommend you do. Yeah. But yeah, it's just it seems to come together, and I'm not thinking too far ahead. That's why I was irked when, unfortunately, I saw the trailer for next week. But yeah, that's perfect. That threw me back to David Tennant's very first special, where we heard Torchwood for the first time, and the Sycorax were destroyed. Remember?
Yeah.
as they retreated. And we know that's a no-no for the Doctor. No matter what they've done, you don't destroy people as they are retreating, or enemies or creatures or whatever. So I thought that was actually a nice throwback that worked, because it just showed this strain of DNA running through the Doctor that's a no-no. So Dali, I touched on this initially, and you actually said something about the VFX. And as I said last week, for the first time, I'm watching it on the AMC Plus app, and I'm watching it in 4K. And I have to say, the VFX this time around for Doctor Who, the VFX look amazing. I mean, the Sontaran ships look great. The battlefields look amazing. Seeing the Mersey dockyards, because the River Mersey is the river where they used to be one of the busiest seaports in the world back in the 1800s. It was like the number one for sending British steel all over the world. But yeah, seeing what they'd done to the Mersey, where you had these things burrowing and being built, and then seeing they've gone to the traditional Welsh quarry in the middle of nowhere to that stood in for the battle location, and you saw all those ships, and then the physical sets looked great as well. I mean, we did have a laugh at Dog Guy, and Dog Guy is still funny. It really does. Like I said, it reminds me of Barth.
Yes, he does, and I've got to say, he and Dan together make a fantastic team.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
they are excellent.
The one thing I will predict by the end of this series is that Dan will rub his belly, because he's a good boy.
I'd watch a spin-off with those two, like a short limited run spin-off series. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I'd rather keep Dan in Doctor Who. I really would. And just bring this other character in now and again, because I mean, apparently there's at least 7 billion of them who are attached to their humans. But yeah, like I said, and I'd love to know your thoughts on the VFX and what you think of it, because it's just this season is just looking like they've upped the ante. They've condensed everything down 6 episodes and really pushed the boat down.
Yep, I think that's helping. Getting down to 6 episodes and letting Chibnall. I'm saying it weirdly, but letting Chibnall let the story run the full 6 instead of the monster of the week, I think is doing him justice. And keeping it to 6 is preventing stuff from getting way out of hand, as we've seen happen in the past with Moffat did that a few times, more than a few times, and Chibnall did it a lot. So it's do
preventing
like
bloat.
Yes, it is, exactly. And I would love to see, instead of, as much as I love Doctor Who and having like 12 episodes in a row, 2 6-episode stints per year could be kind of nice for Doctor Who, because then you can tell that full story, and if something just doesn't click, that it was okay. It was only 6 episodes, or you can get away from it. So this could be a good cadence going forward, I feel. And it gets back to how Doctor Who originally started, right, Marcus?
Well, I mean, the story arcs were 4 to 6 episodes, and you'd have something like 4 to 6 of those a season. So seasons went on for like 30 odd, or even 40 weeks a year. I'd actually be happy with 6 super tight episodes of Doctor Who a year, plus a Christmas special. Honestly, the way we're scaling back, I honestly think this might be a positive knock on from the Netflix effect or the Disney Plus effect, because we did talk about, we've talked in Twitter DMs and in texts about how, wouldn't it be great if Disney Plus picked up Doctor Who, and given these first 2 episodes and the VFX and the production values, Dog Boy aside, I actually think that these 2 episodes show that they don't need Disney Plus. They don't need
real good
Netflix.
It's like they're feeling the effect of Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO, and they're saying, they're saying that we have to keep up with them because we don't want to be purchased by them. No, I think what you're saying is right on point. They feel the heat from these other services. It's actually forcing them to raise their game up a bit. Yeah, talk.
I think history
our
just
private
caught-
chat is fantastic, by the way.
I just look. Dog boy is perfect. I will
Dog
not
boy is
tolerate, and he is a perfect boy.
Hey, look,
Perfect
I'm a
good boy.
dog person. I mean, but look, I'm going to just say this one thing. Do you not remember David Tennant's first episode after his Christmas special, where they went to New York and they met the cat lady, the cat nuns?
Oh yeah,
Those cat nuns looked much better than Dog Boy. I'm just saying, there's an anti-dog bias going on in Doctor Who costuming. They need to work on it. I don't know what dogs have done to those people to piss them off. It's not acceptable. Dog rights matter. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Why you laugh?
Gee,
You know I'm a dog person. Don't make me go get spiked.
Oh yeah. I also think it might just be. I think it's a combination of things. It's a gorgeous show now. The FX have caught up to the grand ideas. I think it could be a combination of, like you're saying, the shorter series, and the fact that like history, like it's not as hard for it's still hard, but it's not as hard for like a company like the BBC 10 years ago with technology the way it is and visual stuff the way it is to do what they've been behind the eight ball for doing for so long. So
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, they're in such a weird spot. We talked about it last week. Marcus had a great breakdown of Bad Wolf taking over production and the government underfunding them and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't know that they feel the heat so much as they just finally caught up to where everybody was 3, 4, 5 years ago. But
I think they're feeling the heat. I mean, given the climate and the political climate back in the UK, obviously, because I do tap into that stuff because I read The Guardian and I look at a lot of other sites that are talking about BBC and government interference and all that sort of stuff. That's why they've signed this production deal with Bad Wolf.
sure.
But I mean,
I guess I just mean, sorry.
I mean, it would be interesting to see if this is the same budget that they would normally use on a 10 to 12 episode season.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just don't get why now all of a sudden they would just be like, all right, dump it into the visuals. We got to get Doctor Who looking great. Like, they're not selling Doctor Who. I mean, it's still
they
a
are.
flagship.
They are telling it around the world. I mean, but they do.
Yeah, but they already have those deals, right? Like, I don't know. It's just.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm guessing we could be looking at re-ups. It's time to re-up on those global deals. Maybe, I mean, we know the BBC, was it Netflix? Oh, sorry, HBO Max has all the new Who episodes, and they're devouring content from the UK.
Do they have?
We know that Peacock, which is owned by Comcast, which also owns Sky in the UK, has a huge.
Do they? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of British content tucked away there, and they have stuff as exclusives. We know Netflix, acquires all sorts of things, and it wouldn't surprise me that if there are some deals coming up, like for example the AMC deal, if that partnership is coming to an end soon, that this is like, okay, we have 6 episodes, we're condensing it, we're going all out, and we're bringing in the big guns next year with Russell T Davies, and we're bringing in Bad Wolf because we're about to pitch this to Netflix. It's like it airs on BBC America as it always does, but then all the episodes go to Netflix, or they maybe the only place you can get it is HBO Max. I mean, that's the state of the world, and these companies are so hungry for content that it would make a lot of fiscal sense and put a lot of money, especially if we're looking at the expanded Whoverse returning, and whether it be Torchwood, whether it be a Dawn and a Noble series, or Strax and Vastra, who knows? I'm sure they've got a huge amount of plans. Just don't partner with fucking Showtime. Miracle Day. I still get shivers when I watch
Stars. It was Stars.
Stars. Okay. Yeah.
HBO doesn't have. I guess they'll get it when it's done. They don't have the current run yet. They don't have these last 2 episodes.
No, they have it up until they have the previous seasons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, we'll see. And then it's also like you were saying too, with the potential. There's those rumors that Sony might buy Bad Wolf. So
True.
Who knows
Yeah.
how that would complicate the deal and everything else. So
You can have
it'll
Bad
be
Wolf and
interesting.
Bad Robot working on projects together. No, you know
No.
what?
No J.J. Abrams.
No.
No J.J. Abrams.
please,
No.
no,
You know, one
no,
thing I do
no.
want to say one thing that's kind of interesting, because there's all kinds of timey-wimey stuff happening right now this season, right? There's Sontarans have taken over what used to be Russia and parts of China and Mongolia. There's all kinds of stuff happening. It's all over the place. The Flux feels like I feel like it's leading to the end of the season. Everything gets undone, right? All the Sontarans, everything gets wiped back away. And I've had that. There's that part inside of me that says if Swarm and Azure are related to the Timeless Child, and you have this planet time, and the Flux is able to delete and readjust time, and everything is kind of floating around these realities. I just have that feeling that we're going to get some Timeless Child undoing potentially, or at least I don't want to call it like a Thanos snap, but a sort of undoing of all the some of the time events that maybe didn't go over so well. At least this season, undoing all the stuff that's happening. Obviously, Sontarans, because they're not going to leave Sontarans in Russia anyways. But I think there could be some really interesting potential ramifications, and I'd love to see the Doctor in the specials, which are what they said 2 or 3 or whatever specials coming after this season. I'd love to see the specials sort of tackle the last few remnants of whatever the Flux was, across different points in time. But I think there's some potential with this plot.
So just to touch back on that Bad Wolf thing, so they Sony is looking to buy out the minority stake in Bad Wolf Studio that's owned by HBO. Would you believe? Because apparently, I mean, this is kind of new to me. I didn't realize that this was actually the case. The show's A Discovery of Witches, Industry, The Night Of, which was obviously huge on HBO, and His Dark Materials were all done by Bad Wolf. So yeah, they've been very busy. I mean, they have offices obviously in Cardiff and here in LA. So maybe I'll go look for a job from them. They said that even if they get acquired, they are not leaving Wales, which is obviously fantastic. I'm guessing they're a huge employer there. But yeah, the prospect of Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams getting his hands on any of that stuff was just that terrifies me more than Steven Spielberg being involved in Doctor Who.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm going to. Hey, what was this?
Thank you. That's a good question. I don't know the answer. I have no earthly idea. It was there and gone. But
I'm sure we'll see it again.
It opened the episode.
Have you ever seen Cabin in the Woods?
Mm-hmm.
Once or 20 times, yeah.
Well, do you remember the box art for Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
Go look at it.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I remember thinking that as well, wondering what the hell it was. And I mean, we know that there are threads running through this all the way through, and I'm guessing we'll see that in a forthcoming episode. I hope it's not a one and done. So
Marcus,
yeah,
your encyclopedia brain again. Does the name Lung Barrow mean anything to you?
Lung Barrow or Long Barrow?
Lung, L-U-N-G.
Lung Barrow.
There's some fun fan theories about it being something called Lung Barrow, but it's from a long time ago.
Oh, here we go.
A creepy house.
It's a Doctor Who novel that was written for the Seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. It was released in 1997. K9's involved. Leela's in it. Romano is in it. The House of Lungbarrow in the southern mountains of Gallifrey. Something momentous happening there, but the house has inexplicably gone missing. So obviously it's because it's a book, there's no imagery for it.
Sure.
But would the House of Lungbarrow look like that? Maybe. Well, it does look kind of dilapidated, but what we've seen of Gallifreyan architecture all the way through these seasons since the reboot, nothing looks like that.
It would be a deep cut.
If you look at the middle one that you shared, Dali, the middle one,
Yes.
it actually looks like a hand. Take a look at that middle one.
Let me pop that one. It does kind of look at that. It look like a hand. Yeah. Let me.
It looks like a hand reaching up out of the ground. And maybe it's because I watched the Eternals last week that, and it's kind of in my eyes. But yeah, that looks like a. If you look at it, that could be a hand.
It's a cool design. I've got to say. Either way, it's actually a really cool design.
It could be a hand. I got the sense it was a bunch of houses or house shrinking. Some dimensional wibbly wobbly stuff going on, but
higgledy-piggledy stuff. Yeah,
higgledy-piggledy. I don't know. I think it's cool to
shrink in this season. Obviously, Dan's house shrinks in season in episode 1.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of theories about these deep cuts from the middle, the middle run of the Doctor and stuff, but it would be foolish to not at least consider that this is going to be Chibs and just be like, that was the house the timeless child was raised on before Gallifrey adopted her and she changed the course of the entire universe and whatever. So, yeah.
Well, it would have been better than the one that, Capaldi was raised in, apparently, because remember that episode where...
The shack in the desert?
The shack in the desert, yeah. I mean, we went from the purple the purple grass on the musical mountains or whatever the hell they were to a shack in the desert.
The little Gallifrey child who's going to be too cowardly to grow up to be a Time Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's scared of the monsters under his bed.
Well, gentlemen, I'm not afraid of any monsters, but I am old and I'm afraid of falling asleep. Regularly afraid of falling asleep.
What was the name, really, really quick, what was the name of the doctress, the figure from history who was helping out with the soldiers?
It was
Mrs.
Seacole, Mary Seacole.
Seacourt? I think it was Seacourt, wasn't it?
Seacole. She's an actual British Jamaican, like served on the front line, set up a hospital, like
during the Crimean War.
Yeah, during the Crimean War. Yep, very cool story.
I want to call that out because it was interesting when she first showed up. Val and I were both pulled out of it. Like we were both just like, this is of all the and this is saying something in a sci-fi show. Of all the people that showed up, she just felt like somebody who was like trying really hard to act. Like she pulled us out of the story. We just didn't buy it. Like we just felt like it was somebody playing a character. And I gotta say, by the end, all in. Like big fan. Thought her performance got way better. Thought she was a great one episode companion for the Doctor. Thought she was a great antithesis to that stupid dude soldier guy who wound up getting everybody killed. I thought that was cool. I don't know anything about her from history, so I'm actually intrigued to look up more about her. But assuming it, I don't know. I thought they did a good job with her by the end. So I thought that was a nice touch for the story.
Definitely.
About a bunch of potato soldiers. So
I was going to ask, out of 5 potato soldiers, how much would you give? Do we even want your ratings anymore?
We're not doing that. We're not ranking this.
That's right.
Instead of ranking it, I will say it has continued to hold my interest, and I was entertained.
Yeah.
Same here. Surprisingly, still holding my interest through a couple episodes, which I haven't been able to say through Chibnall's years so far. But either way,
the only thing we've been able
give
to
it up for this style. Give it up for the Christmas ornament style. I love it. I want to get
I am intrigued.
And them pointy shoulders.
I am
and that weird butler in the background.
He's walking. Oh my God!
It looks like a rejected Skeletor mask from Masters of the Universe.
What is it? Coral. It's like walking coral.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know. It's been a while since we've had an enemy like this that wasn't the Master, that had just completely is owning the Doctor in every encounter they have, and I think it's cool. I'm terrified of where it's going, but I think it's cool right now. So
And I didn't watch the preview, so how will the Doctor get out of this? We'll find out on the next episode of Doctor Who, which we will cover on the next episode of The Lonely TARDIS.
We should also talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife, because I'm going to go see it on Friday.
Oh, you lucky. Yeah, lucky. Is it this week it's coming out?
I think so. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to be very stupid in the cinema.
I will see it as well.
There's a lot of stuff we should.
You know what? We could do a fun little one-off of Ghostbusters, Eternals, and maybe anything else that's popping up as well. Dune, which was phenomenal. Gents, a total pleasure as usual to chat with you guys and talk Doctor Who, because it's genuinely a blast. Genuinely a blast.
Oh, it's actually not this week. It's next week. It's November 19th. Oh, 19th. Damn.
Okay.
Yeah. Paul Rudd.
Ruiner, Sean.
Wouldn't it be great if Paul Rudd appeared in an episode of Doctor Who? If you want us to talk about a timeless child, there's a friggin' timeless child for you. I mean,
it does not change.
He was in a Halloween, I think, like The Curse of Michael Myers. His first screen appearance was in the Halloween sequel. I think it's probably like Halloween 4, The Curse of Michael Myers. And you look at him, and he looks the same. And then he was in Friends for the final season as Phoebe's boyfriend, and he looks the same. And you just watch him all the way through. I mean, that guy's made a deal with the devil. He absolutely.
It's Benjamin Button, just like in reverse with him. He's getting younger and younger. Marcus, where can people find you?
You can find me in the usual spot at Annoyed Gamer, and you can find me on the YouTubes and the Twitch. I am Beer on Twitch, and then just search for Marcus Beer on YouTube, and you'll find my weekly stream that I now do on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, depending on when the soccer's on TV.
It's fantastic. The football, as one might say. The footy. Sean, where can we find you?
You could go see Clifford the Big Red Dog while you wait for Ghostbusters.
Oh, I don't know, Sean. Looking at your text, I'm looking at Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters sounds like a
frantic. I was like, you need to know it's not opening.
If there's something weird in your bowels now, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters.
You can find Sean throwing the trash out, also with his typos.
You keep making that reference. That was before the show started. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Oh, they do know that. About you. Before you came on, we put your address up and picture of you basically out there in your t-shirt and you know,
doxed you.
Going full Winnie the Pooh, just a t-shirt, taking out your trash in New Jersey.
Yes. At Sean Norton, SHAUNNORTON on the Twitters and probably other places nobody looks and I don't use anymore.
And of course, at Dolly Demovsky, which is.
Does anybody have a TikTok?
I posted my first TikTok. I posted my first TikTok today or last night.
How does it work with TikTok? I mean, explain it to me. I mean, do you have to do something stupid to do a TikTok, can you just sort of like just?
I posted Taffy. And I'm not kidding when I say I posted Taffy. There you go. You can do that.
Oh,
just
nice.
Do that video. There's your TikTok right there. You can find us at Lonely TARDIS all over the place. I love that it's a picture. I've just got my.
Hey, it's a beer mug.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode of The Lonely TARDIS. We love you. Bye.
Bye.